The human mind revels in conjecture. When there's not enough information available, it gladly fills in the gaps. This is called the art of insinuation. A controversy in India is a classic example of this. It started with a media report which claimed that an Israeli hacking software is being used to snoop on at least 50,000 individuals the world over. The name of the software is Pegasus. We'll discuss it in detail in a bit. First, the report. What does it say? It claims that Pegasus is being abused by authoritarian governments, those are the words they use, to target critics and dissidents. The report relies on a leaked database which was first accessed by a Paris-based media outlet and Amnesty International. The two then shared it with 16 media organizations from various countries. These are organizations with common biases, but I'll focus on what they're saying instead. They say the leaked database contains a list of 50,000 phone numbers across the world that could have been potential targets of this spyware. Potential, note that. Who do these numbers belong to, these phone numbers? It's a diverse and exhaustive list. There are human rights activists, journalists, lawyers, business executives, religious figures, academics, government officials, and many more. Where do these individuals live? Mostly in these countries: Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Hungary, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Morocco, Rwanda, Mexico, and India. The report claims that at least 300 Indians have been under surveillance using the Pegasus software. A web portal in India, which was part of this global media project, has revealed certain names. It says there are 40 Indian journalists, 40, 3 opposition leaders, 2 serving cabinet ministers, a constitutional authority, and several government officials and scientists. You can look up their names. And when you do, try to focus on the language used. I say this because the report seems to be driven by emotion and inclination and not by facts and logic. Nowhere does the original story state that these individuals are being spied on by their governments. It doesn't even mention where this data was leaked and who was spying on whom. Whether one government was spying on another, whether all of them were part of a global spying operation, there is no clarity, or whether the software fell into the hands of non-state actors. Yet in India, some have tried to imply that the Indian government is snooping on its citizens. And this has been done by quoting certain journalists who have directly pinned the blame on New Delhi. Let me try and show you the difference. Here is what The Guardian stated in its original report. This is what it says. The presence of a phone number in the data does not reveal whether a device was infected with Pegasus or subject to an attempted hack. However, the consortium believes the data is indicative of the potential targets of the NSO's government clients identified in advance of possible surveillance attempts. Focus on the words used. Attempted hacks, hack, believes, and indicative. Simply put, there is not enough evidence to state that the respective governments are spying on the respective individuals. It's all in the realm of possibility. Let me also say this. We wouldn't put it past any government to be able to snoop on its people. We also agree it's wrong. It's a violation of your rights. It shouldn't happen if it's happening. But can we blame governments simply on the basis of reports that do not add up? I say we shouldn't. Yet some portals have used the statements of those part of this leaked database to imply and to insinuate that the government has been spying. And the political ecosystems these portals cater to are taking care of the rest. They've gone on a rampage, flinging accusations and taking names, carefully nudging the story towards a direction that suits their narrative. What about the other side? How have governments responded? Well, most haven't. India has. The government has issued a statement. Let me read out some excerpts for you here. This is what it says. The story being crafted is one that is not only bereft of facts, but also founded in preconceived conclusions. It seems that you're trying to play the role of investigator, prosecutor, as well as jury. This news report appears to be a fishing expedition based on conjectures and exaggerations to malign the Indian democracy and its institutions. In the past, similar claims were made regarding the use of Pegasus on WhatsApp by the Indian state. Those reports were denied by all parties, including WhatsApp and the Indian Supreme Court.
The press reports of 18 July 2021 also appear to be an attempt to malign the Indian democracy and its well-established institutions. Any form of illegal surveillance is not possible with the checks and balances in our laws and robust institutions. In India, there is a well-established procedure through which lawful interception of electronic communication is carried out for the purpose of national security, particularly on the occurrence of any public emergency or in the interest of public safety by agencies at the center in this state. And the time-tested procedures of our country are well established to ensure that unauthorized surveillance cannot occur. Honorable Speaker, sir, when we look at this issue through the prism of logic, it clearly emerges that there is no substance whatsoever behind this sensationalism.
Now, here's something you must know. Pegasus is software that is only sold to quote-unquote vetted governments, not to individuals or any other entities. Pegasus is owned by the NSO Group, which is based in Israel. Now, on your screen are images of their head office in Tel Aviv. This group is well known for its expertise in creating specialized cyber tools. Pegasus is the most notorious of them all. This software first became public knowledge almost 5 years back when it was used to hack the iPhone of an Arab human rights activist. iPhone maker Apple released an iOS update then, which reportedly patched the vulnerability that Pegasus was targeting. This was back in 2016. Then in 2017, researchers found that this Pegasus can also exploit Android-based smartphones. This finding led to new security updates. And then in 2019, the NSO Group was at odds with Facebook. Facebook sued it for creating this surveillance software. This time, the group finds itself at the center of a global story. What does it have to say? It says, and I'm quoting again, many of the claims made by the report are uncorroborated theories based on misleading interpretation of leaked data from accessible services. Such services are openly available to anyone, anywhere, and anytime. The data has many legitimate and entirely proper users having nothing to do with surveillance. So there can be no factual basis to suggest that a use of the data somehow equates to surveillance. Has the group revealed names of governments it sold the software to? It hasn't, and it wouldn't, because it says it has to abide by contractual and national security considerations. Now here's the thing, snooping is a serious threat. State-sponsored surveillance is also a reality the world over. It can be used to intimidate, also to incarcerate. But if there's any merit in what is being reported, claimed and said, it must be backed with on-the-record sources, a fulsome analysis and documentation that corroborates the allegations. If the media outlets behind this story are able to provide any of this, then there must be an independent and transparent investigation, and such an investigation must begin by finding out why such a software is being sold in the first place and how are governments using the taxpayers' money to buy such products. Is this to combat terror and crime? And if so, then how far does the surveillance effort stretch? We must all ask these questions. But we cannot villainize systems and governments based on belief, indications, and possibility. The Pegasus project, I'm afraid, is conjecture stitched together with political bias. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.